Most people spend their entire career terrified of one thing: running out of money in retirement. They save aggressively, they sacrifice, they delay everything. And then retirement finally arrives, and something strange happens. They still can't spend it. The money is there, the plan worked, but the fear never left. Here is the truth nobody in personal finance wants to say out loud. For millions of Americans, the real retirement crisis is not running out of money. It is having enough money and being too afraid to use it. Today, I am going to show you exactly why that happens, and I am going to show you the system that fixes it, no matter how much or how little you have saved. Let's get into it. I want you to meet two women, Jenifer and Leah, same age, 62 years old. Both worked in healthcare administration for over 30 years. Both retired the same year. Both walked into retirement with roughly $500,000 saved. Factor in Social Security and a small pension, and their monthly income picture looks almost identical. Not wealthy, not struggling. Solidly middle class, the kind of retirement most Americans are actually working toward. Now here is what their lives look like 5 years later. Leah booked a trip to see her daughter in Colorado last October. She goes to her grandson's Saturday soccer games. She buys him a hot chocolate after every match. She signed up for a yoga class at the community center. She replaced her aging water heater before it became an emergency. She is not living extravagantly, she is just living. Jenifer opens her brokerage app before she pours her morning coffee. Every single day. When the market has a rough week, she cancels dinner plans. She skips the dentist appointment she has been putting off for 6 months. Her daughter asked her to fly out for a visit. Jenifer said maybe next month. That was 8 months ago. Her friends quietly assume she must be struggling. But here is the part that will stop you cold. Jenifer has more money in her account right now than Leah does. So what is actually happening here? It is not the numbers. The numbers are nearly identical. It is not luck. It is not the market. It is something happening inside both of their brains, and it is the most important retirement concept almost nobody talks about. Here is the thing. Jenifer's behavior makes complete sense. If you had spent 30 years building something, sacrificing for it, protecting it, watching it slowly grow, you would protect it too. Every financial instinct she developed over her working life is telling her the same thing. Guard the pile. Do not touch it. What if something goes wrong? And honestly, if you were in her position, you would probably feel exactly the same way. That knot in the stomach when you go to withdraw money, that voice that whispers, "Are you sure? What if the market drops next month? What if you need that later?" That is not irrational. That is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. Here's the problem. That same instinct, the one that helped you save, is now working directly against you. The part of your brain responsible for protecting resources cannot tell the difference between a threat and a reward. To your brain, spending your retirement savings feels the same as losing it. But here is what nobody tells you. Not spending has a cost too. A very real one. And it is the cost most people never calculate. Let me show you what is actually happening beneath the surface. Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman spent decades studying how humans process money. His most important finding for retirees is this. The psychological pain of losing a dollar is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining a dollar. He called it loss aversion. And it explains everything about why Jenifer cannot spend. When she looks at her account and sees the number drop, even by a planned withdrawal, her brain does not register it as using her money. It registers it as losing her money. Withdrawal is the language of loss. That is why the number going down hurts even when it is supposed to happen. Now add a market decline on top of that. Her account drops because of the market, and then it drops again because of her withdrawal. Her brain processes two separate losses in a single moment. That kind of double pain causes people to stop withdrawing completely. And that is where the invisible cost begins. Here is what that actually means in real life. Research consistently shows that the most physically capable, most active years of retirement run from about 63 to 73. Your knees still work. You can get on a plane. You can hike, travel, sit through a long dinner, play on the floor with your grandkids. That window is real, and it is not permanent. Every year Jenifer spends paralyzed, canceling trips, skipping experiences, saying no to her daughter. She is not just saving money. She is trading experiences she can never buy back. And here is what makes this even harder to hear. The money she is protecting right now, will it make her meaningfully happier at 82 than it would at 67? For most people, the honest answer is no. Not because the money stops mattering, but because what your body will let you do with it changes. But here is what I want to be clear about. I am not talking only about people with large portfolios. I hear from people with 200,000 saved, 300,000, less. The psychological trap is the same at every level. People with modest savings underuse what they have just as often as people with large savings. The cost is the same regardless of the account size. Time spent anxious instead of present. And here is the part nobody talks about. There are actually two retirement risks. The first is outliving your money. Everyone knows that one. Everyone worries about it. The second is outliving your health. Spending your most capable years in financial anxiety while the money sits untouched. Most financial content only addresses the first risk. This video is about the second one. So how did Leah escape this trap? She did not have more money than Jenifer. She did not get lucky in the market. She changed one thing. She stopped thinking of herself as someone drawing down a portfolio. She started thinking of herself as someone receiving a paycheck. Think about that for a moment. When you were working and your paycheck hit your checking account, did you feel guilty spending it? Of course not. That money was the return on your labor. You earned it. It was supposed to be spent. Your retirement savings is the return on 30 or 40 years of discipline, sacrifice, and patience. Every dollar in that account represents hours of your life. Spending it on your actual life, that is not erosion. That is the whole point. Leah built a system around that idea, and the results 5 years later are not just financial, they are everything. Let me walk you through exactly how it works. Step 1. Calculate your real monthly need. Not a bare-bones budget, not a survive-the-month number. What does your actual life cost? Housing, food, healthcare, insurance, car, the occasional trip, dinner out once in a while, gifts for the grandkids. Write it all down. Be honest. Step 2. Subtract your guaranteed income. Social Security, pension, rental income, anything that shows up every month, regardless of what the market does. The difference that remains, that is what your portfolio needs to provide. That is its one job. Step 3. Set up an automatic monthly transfer. Take that gap number and divide by 12. Set up an automatic transfer from your investment account to your checking account for that exact amount. Same day every month. You set it once, you leave it alone. And here is what happens. When that money arrives in your checking account every month, your brain stops processing it as a withdrawal. It starts processing it as a paycheck. The emotional response changes completely. You are not depleting a fortress. You are collecting income you already earned. Step 4. Build a downturn buffer. This is the step most people skip, and it is critical. Here is the problem with a fixed automatic withdrawal. When markets drop significantly, and they will, pulling the same amount from a declining portfolio means you are selling assets at exactly the wrong time. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it can deplete a portfolio much faster than the math suggests. The solution is a buffer account. Keep 1 to 2 years of your monthly gap amount in a separate, stable account. A high-yield savings account works, a money market fund works, short-term treasuries work. During normal market conditions, your automatic transfer pulls from your investment portfolio as planned. But when the market drops more than 15 or 20%, you pause the portfolio transfers. You pull from the buffer instead. You give your investments time to recover before you start selling them. This does two things. It protects your portfolio from being depleted in a downturn, and it protects your psychology. When you know you have a year or two of living expenses in cash, watching the market fall does not feel like an emergency. You are not ignoring the market. You are building a system that does not need the market to cooperate every single month. Step 5. Know your number. You have probably heard of the 4% rule. Withdrawing 4% of your portfolio per year is historically sustainable across a 30-year retirement. Let me make that real for different portfolio sizes. If you have $150,000 saved, 4% is $6,000 a year, about $500 a month from your portfolio. If Social Security covers your core expenses, that $500 a month is meaningful breathing room. If you have $300,000, 4% is $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month. If you have $500,000, 4% is $20,000 a year, about $1,600 a month. The number that matters is not your total balance. It is the gap between what you need each month and what guaranteed income already covers. Your portfolio fills that gap, sustainably, for decades. That is the scoreboard. Jenifer is holding on to a number that is growing smaller in real terms every year. Leah built a system, and the system is working. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. Because I think a lot of financial content skips this part. Even with a solid system in place, some people still feel the anxiety. The automatic transfer is set up, the buffer account is funded, the math looks right, and yet the fear is still there. That is okay. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It means you need one more layer. Here are 3 tools that actually help. The first one is naming your floor. Get specific about the minimum balance that would genuinely make you feel safe. Not the maximum you want to protect, the minimum you need to feel okay. Write that number down. Now, look at the difference between your actual balance and that floor. That gap, that is your spending space. You are not spending your security. You are spending the cushion above your floor. Naming the floor makes it real and manageable in a way that staring at a big total balance never does. The second tool is a permission account. Open a separate checking account with one purpose only: fun. Transfer a small amount into it every month from your retirement paycheck. Travel, experiences, restaurants, anything that brings you joy. Because this account is mentally categorized as spending money, not savings, not a portfolio, your brain gives you a free pass. No guilt, no second guessing. You open it to spend. That is what it is for. Now, about annuities. Some financial content recommends annuities as a solution for spending anxiety. The logic makes sense. Convert part of your savings into guaranteed monthly income for life. Your brain stops experiencing it as spending from a pool. It just feels like income. But I want to be direct with you here. For most middle-class retirees, a traditional annuity is not the right first step. The fees are often high, the products are complex, and the commissions that salespeople earn on annuities are among the highest in all of financial services. That means someone recommending an annuity to you may not have your interests first. My honest recommendation? Build the system first. The automatic transfer, the buffer account, the permission account. For most people, that is enough. If after 6 months you are still paralyzed with anxiety despite a solid plan in place, that is when it makes sense to sit down with a fee-only fiduciary advisor. Someone who is legally required to act in your interest, someone who does not earn commissions, and have a real conversation about whether any additional income guarantees make sense for your specific situation. Do not start with the product, start with the system. Let me bring this home. Most people think the retirement problem is having enough money, but that is not actually the trap. The real trap is spending decades building a system to protect your money and then never learning how to use it. You trained yourself to save, you were disciplined, you were patient, but nobody taught you how to spend. And here is the thing, the real problem is not running out of money. The real problem is making spending decisions in retirement without a system, without a buffer, without a floor, without a paycheck structure, and then letting anxiety make all your choices for you. That is what Jenifer is living, and she does not have to. The framework is simple. Calculate your real monthly need. Include the life you actually want. Subtract guaranteed income. Find the gap, automate the transfer, make it a paycheck, build a buffer, protect yourself in downturns. Name your floor. Define what safety actually means to you. Create a permission account. Give yourself a guilt-free spending lane, and then use the system. Trust it, because you did not spend 30 years saving so that your money could sit untouched in a brokerage account while your life quietly passed by. That is not the finish line. That is the whole point. Spend with intention, protect with a plan, and live like you actually earned it, because you did. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Which one feels more like you right now, Jenifer or Leah? Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this gave you something useful, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because right now there are a lot more Jenifers out there than Leahs. I will see you in the next one. This video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions.